Traders War Room wants to thank you, the viewer, for coming along with us on this journey. Please check out the description tab as it has an overview of content on the channel and some links for resources and online brokerage. Thank you.
What is up, team? Chuck with Traders War Room, and I'm back at you with another video. Listen, this is the video for Friday, yesterday, doing the market wrap-up, okay? I had some technical difficulties, and I couldn't post the video yesterday, but you know what? We're going to move on, and today's a new day, and it seems as though I'm not having those difficulties. We're going to talk about what the market did yesterday. We're also going to talk about our next option chat, which we're going to discuss the Greeks, specifically Gamma, and how it affects your portfolio. And listen, we need to understand these options because while we're waiting for our stocks to rebound and continue to climb up through the end of the year, we need to be making some money on the side with some of these option plays. And options is blowing up and there's a lot of opportunity, but we need to be safe and we need to be careful because you can lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. But what I need you to do right now is like, share, subscribe, join the team, join the community. And as always, if you're ready, follow me and let's go to war.
Traders War Room wants to remind you, the viewer, that this is for education and entertainment purposes. You are responsible for every move and decision you make within the stock market. Tread cautiously and be careful, but have fun and go to war. All right, team. Hey, listen, first and foremost, as I always do, I want to thank every single one of you for coming with us on this journey. You guys truly are what drive the content and the discussion points and the information that we push out. You guys motivate the admins and the moderators, and because of that, we try to put out the best content that we can, and we try to simplify it for all the beginning, intermediate, and even the advanced traders and investors out there. So it's really because of you that we're so successful at this point, and we're starting to pop off, and I want to thank you guys. Now, with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the buzz report and what's hot and what's not in the stock market and look at my portfolio. Let's go. All right, so we start off with the market review. We see a green day across the board. We didn't see significant pops, but nevertheless, green is green. So everyone should have seen a little bit of recovery in some of their stocks. Here's your market movers. Big shout out to the ones that held on to Fubo and Apple. I saw a lot of commotion throughout different social media platforms on Apple calls and being big in the money. So Apple rebounded hardcore, and congrats to everyone that got on that train and profited. All right, and here's your sector performance. You see pretty much green across the major industries or sectors. And you see that our big losers were staples, utilities, and energy. I'm looking towards energy to rebound slightly next week and maybe possibly into the following week. So keep a watch out for some calls on some energy plays. All right, one of the big headlines in the news, Amazon warehouse workers fight to unionize is far from over. So Amazon won a big deal in Alabama as far as the decision over unionizing their facilities, but the worker people and a lot of pressure are pushing for this unionizing, and they got a lot of traction on it. So I'm looking towards Amazon next week or possibly the week after that to be kind of volatile and might present some good opportunities for some day trading in the ups and downs. So keep a lookout for that. All right, and this one's for all you potheads out there, okay? Virginia legalizing marijuana could be a catalyst for federal legalization. Now, remember, Virginia has a long history with throwing a lot of influence with how federal regulations and policies and things of that nature go on. So, Virginia being one of these that legalizes it could be a catalyst for other ones and could also be a big catalyst for weed stocks. So keep an eye on these, SNDL, Tilray, some other ones. But watch these coming in the next week because it might present opportunities to buy in and ride some waves up. Now, big chatter about, America being a superpower and all this and having some of the worst connectivity across the world. So this is going to be a big push here in the near future. Okay, now this is not a get rich quick scheme for 5G and connectivity infrastructure. This is a play that's going to take some time to develop, but getting in now while some of these 5G plays are low will be beneficial, in my opinion, in the long run, because we're not just talking about 5G companies. We're talking about towers that need to be built. We're talking about cables that need to be produced. We're talking about manpower, equipment, machineries, all this stuff to build this outdated infrastructure so that we can be in the new technology era of this internet type of stuff. Now remember, 5G is going over Internet of Things, AI, self-driving cars, all this type of technology that is projected to expand in the near future is going to be covered in this, and we need to get in early before it's too late and we're having to catch up to the train that's already on its way. All right, and here's my portfolio for today. You see that I'm down $281 or 4%. And as you see that kind of that spike right there, I could have been green for the day, but I made a mistake. Greed got me, and we're going to go over that with one of my plays. And I'm going to show you where I could have profited and been green for the day, but I got greedy and I just followed it down, and it was a endless downward spiral that never rebounded. All right, so I want to highlight, you saw that I was down on the day, okay, and I had a bad play. I talked about that in my portfolio review. I want to go over that bad play because before we get into options, I want to talk about greed, okay? And greed caught me today. I had an opportunity to come out green and come out on top of the market during this volatile day that I had, and I didn't follow my plans and I didn't follow my instructions and my rules, and greed got me, and you know what? I had to take the L. But we're going to talk about that, so hopefully you don't follow my same footsteps. And like I said before, we truly learn more from our failures than we do our successes, because I was successful all week, thought I was untouchable, and look, Friday, boom, I take the L, and I made a big mistake, and it cost me. So let's get into my mistakes so you don't make the same mistake, and then we'll talk about that options talk. Let's go. So this is the play I was talking about, CVX. I had a $103 call that expired on Friday, and I ended up getting only $6 profit from this, and I'm going to show you where I could have made double my money, but greed got me, and I suffered the consequences. So here's the weekly on Chevron, and you saw that it was downtrending because of some negative press that basically said, you shouldn't buy Chevron, they've underperformed the market, you should buy XOM, okay? Well, it dipped on the 8th, and I bought in low at about $102.55, somewhere around there, and I bought an option play, a quick one that I was planning on swinging until the next day. And I'm going to go over to yesterday's report and see where I could have made my money back and then some, but I failed. All right, so now moving into the next day, right? I was playing that bounce back, which I thought was going to happen, and just like I thought it did. So you see at 9:45, this peaked at $103.64, right? So my initial contract was 44 cents that I bought, and I bought 2 contracts, right? At this peak of 103.64, my contracts were worth $1.03 because of all the Greeks that pushed it up. Now, I could have doubled my money, but I thought, oh, this is the rebound because Chevron's been beat down for so long. I got a little bit more room, so I set a limit at $1.25. So I wasn't being too greedy like, oh, man, this is really going to hit, but I thought it had a little more room to go. And as you see, right after that peak, it just declined and it kept going. It started rebounding a little bit towards the end of the market, but I never rebounded to the heights. And because I was expiring on that Friday, everything started coming into play where my money and my option was just becoming more and more worthless as time grew on. And as you see, at the end of the day, I only made out with $6, and I could have doubled my money and came out with close to $200 profit. And greed got me, and I took the L. And this is a big lesson learned. Please don't make the same mistake, and let's move on and learn from this and get into some option talk on how to make ourselves better. So I'm going to leave the literature up here, so if you learn more from reading, that can be, you can pause this and read a little bit of it. But I want you to think of gamma as an accelerant, okay? If delta is a car and we're trying to get to, say, A, which is our call option, or B, which is our put option, our break-even point, or further past that, gamma is going to be the accelerant that pushes our car, which is delta, to get to A or B faster. And it's going to give us an idea of how $1 in our underlying stock will propel us either forward towards A or backwards towards B. And we're going to get into a little bit. I'm going to show you an option play so it kind of makes a little more sense. Again, just a little bit of literature. If you want to pause and read this type of stuff, go ahead, but we're going to move on because I learn more from examples. Now here's a chart showing you different strike prices with profits and loss, deltas that are changing, and your gamma that's not changing. Now the gamma will change eventually as the underlining the strike price is changing, but it doesn't change at the same rate that delta does. So it stays a little more constant until it gets to a certain point and then it changes. And here's the other part of that chart so you can start to see how delta's been constantly changing throughout the strike price, but the gamma was staying kind of the same, but now it's starting to taper down, okay, going from 80 to 79 and to 78 as the strike price is going up. And just more literature to finish off what we have with Investopedia, but now we're going to get into an example. So this is how I learn, and if you're like me, pictures and demonstrations, I get a lot more out of it. But here it is, pause, read, and then we're going to move on to the example. So here's the underlying stock of an option play I'm playing next week. We got STPK, and notice that it's at $31 at closing based off of this chart. All right, and here's my option play. I got a $40 call, and currently my strike price is 23 cents. Now here's what I want you to pay attention to. Notice that the delta is 0.09. That's what we're going to use for this, all right? The gamma is 0.03. So on my way, I want this to go up. So on my way towards $1 of movement in STPK, it is expected that my next delta, if it goes the direction I want it to go, will change to 0.12. So 9 plus 3 equals 12. Now there's some math that goes in, so it's not exactly perfect, but it's a good probability and a good, easy way to simplify it. But that is where my delta will go, which would take my 0.23 right here up at first 9 more cents. And then the next step after that would be a 12-cent increase if it continued to travel towards the strike price that I have. Now remember, this also works in the opposite way. So if it starts to tank, it's going to move at about the same rate towards the bottom side of it as well. And just to hit on this again, remember, delta is going to change more frequently than gamma does, but gamma will change as the underlying stock price, which we saw with $31 from the main STPK, changes. But delta is going to be the one that really fluctuates more. Gamma is the accelerator that pushes delta and our strike price towards A or towards B.
All right, team. Hey, I hope I broke gamma down for you so that you understand a little bit better and how it affects your portfolio, specifically talking options. I also hope I gave you guys a real and a genuine understanding of, hey, we're all human. We make mistakes. Greed gets all of us, okay? But you need to learn from your mistakes so that we're better today than we were yesterday. I feel as though I'm better today than I was yesterday. And you know what? I probably won't make that same mistake for a while. So it was a good lesson learned. It was a costly lesson learned, but it was a good one nonetheless. Right now, we're going to get into the you pick it, I buy it. I got 5 stocks for you. I vetted them all. Listen, your job is to go out there and check out these stocks that may be in different sectors and different stocks that you may not normally look at, okay? And you need to try to find me a gem, a diamond in the rough, and possibly you might find yourself a new position that you find interesting. And that is the end goal of this, to expand knowledge and to do some research. So let's get into it right now.
All right, and here's the you pick it, I buy it list. Remember, the rules of this are that you look at the stock, you do a little research, you check it out, and you pick the one that you think would be a good investment and a good buy, and something maybe you wouldn't mind having in your portfolio, or you want to see kind of how it plays out. You pick that stock, the winner on Sunday evening, I'm going to announce, and then on Monday morning at a time that I see convenient based on a market fluctuation, I'm gonna buy $100 worth of that stock and we're gonna roll with it, and we update on Fridays. So right now we're gonna get into our previous picks and I'm gonna give you that update. So this was our very first stock that we did when we kicked this off, OPKO. Now this is fluctuated in between, -8% and +6%. It's hitting that -10% that I start to consider getting out. And if it hits that -15, I'm out. But right now we're going to roll with this because it hasn't hit that point, and hopefully this rebounds in the coming weeks. One of the more recent plays that we had was CAAP. Now this one I'm actually up 1%, almost 2%, and this thing has slowly, like a turtle, been climbing. It has a little fluctuation, but it hasn't fluctuated very much. So I'm very pleased with this stock, and I think this will perform well in the future. Now this stock was actually rocking last week, okay? It was up maybe 6%, but had a pullback like some of the other stocks and sectors this week, and we're down -5%. I'm not too worried about this one. It's not hitting that threshold where I'm concerned with getting out of it, but we're going to keep a watch on it. And at this point, I still have high hopes for this stock, and I think this was a good pick. So we're going to rock with it. Now this was a previous play that we had, but I had to get rid of it. It hit the -15%, and I was out. And as you see, it's been on a downtrend for about a month, but now we're kind of coming into some consolidation. So consideration for getting back into this play, but more details on that when it happens. And another one of our plays that we were in initially and got out, this thing dipped, I think -17%. As you see that big, huge dip there, and then had a spike, and it's been tapering down. At this time, I'm still not considering getting back into this, as I'm not seeing any consolidation or any signs of reversal. But it's still on my watch list to keep watch for a future position. But at this time, I'm not considering it as something to get into. All right, there you have it. Those are the 5 stocks that I want you to pick from. I want to be real clear. This is not a ploy for me to have you guys pick stocks that I want to buy, okay? I started this thing as a team building event. This is a community. We're a community of stock traders and investors, and this is how we have fun within this community, okay? All these stocks I've already vetted. I wouldn't mind owning any of them. The idea is to expand our knowledge and understanding of the stock market and different sectors together as a group, which brings us into our philosophy here at Traders War Room, is that we look at the stock market like it's a war zone. The stocks and the sectors, those are our battles, okay? We attack, we destroy, we conquer. We also survey, we recon, and we look for the best advantage point so that we can get to our objective and attack and get it. Now, the end goal obviously is we want to be profitable, but at the end of the day, the main goal that I want to drive home to you guys is to be better prepared today than we were yesterday. And that's knowledge, that's understanding, and that's a sense of community between us. So, as always, if you're ready, follow me and let's go to war.